Hello and welcome again to RCModelReviews on YouTube. And today the weather's absolutely appalling. It's blowing a gale. I've had to use artificial lighting here, see the shadows on my face, to get any kind of good picture on the old video. But I've got a few new products to talk to you about in this weekly news bulletin. First of all, there's this, a watt meter. Now, I purchased this watt meter online, as you do. It'll handle up to 100 amps at up to 60 volts. And it's a very useful thing for checking out your electric installation if you fly electrics. In fact, I recommend anyone who's serious about electrics has one of these watt meters. So these are a dime a dozen. You can find them anywhere. HobbyKing has them, HobbyModel has them. Lots of different sites on the internet have them. So what's so special about this one? Well, absolutely nothing, except I bought it from RCtimer.com and it was $26.99, which you might think, that's a little bit pricey for one of these, but that included shipping. In fact, all the products on RCtimer.com include shipping. So go and have a look. Now, I was reasonably happy with the service I got from this. I purchased it and 8 days later it arrived in my mailbox from China, which is pretty good at this time of the year. So you can't grizzle at that. So if you're looking around for other sources of products, then have a look at RC Timer. If you go to the RCModelReviews.com forums, you'll find on there that a number of people have said quite favourable things about RC Timer, so they are an alternative. I'm not saying they're the best, I'm just saying I had good service and the product works as advertised. And I'll be doing a review on the watt meter in the very near future, so if you're into electrics and you're wondering what a watt meter does and how to use it, I will show you. Also this week, some new products from FrSky out of China. And this is their new T8, what is it? I have to read the label. It's the TFR8S. See that? What does the S mean? No idea. In fact, I think it may be because it works also with the Futaba fast surface radios, which is quite useful if you use surface radios for something. But the big thing about this, the real benefit of this, is if you've got one of these existing FrSky fast compatible receivers, which I've reviewed in the past and found to be very, very good, as have the hundreds, thousands of people who have already bought these and had no problems at all, found them to be excellent, is you can take the new S version and you can cascade it. What does that mean? Well, this original receiver will do channels 1 to 8. This will do channels 9 to 14. If you've got a 14MZ or a 12FG or a 8FG or whatever, this will do the extra channels. So effectively, you get two receivers that act as one, and it gives you 4 antenna for extra diversity at a price that is significantly less than the genuine Futaba receiver. But in saying that, when FrSky told me they were going to do this, I was quite skeptical about whether anyone would buy a Chinese setup that gave them 14 channels. Let's face it, a 14 channel model is going to be very large, very expensive, and would you trust it to a cheap Chinese fast compatible receiver? And originally I thought, no one's going to do that. You spend a fortune on a Futaba 14MZ, you're not going to try and save 100 or 200 bucks on the receiver, are you? Especially because it's probably going in a giant gasser or a gas turbine or something like that, which is also going to cost tens of thousands of dollars perhaps. But then, looking at how well these original receivers have performed in the market, I'm having a rethink about that because I know everyone that's had these things is damn happy with them. So if they do work as advertised, and I'll be reviewing this, I'll be putting this on the bench, going through and checking it, make sure it works as well as the original, there's no problems. I have to get my hands on a 14MZ to check the upper channels, but I'm sure I can do that. I'll be testing these out, making sure they work as advertised, and if they do, then I'm sure there are quite a number of people out there with relatively modest Futaba radios, like the Futaba 10C or the T8FG, which had 10 channels also. I'm sure those people would love to be able to use the extra 2 channels for an extra 40 bucks or whatever these receivers cost. So there we go. We'll see what happens. I'll test it, I'll review it, we'll look at what the market says about these, if people are actually willing to buy them. Another product from FrSky that arrived in my mailbox is this, the Naked Receiver. Well, actually, it is the new 6-channel receiver N-pin from FrSky, full range, 2 antennas, and it also has 2 telemetry inputs. One of them is already built in that monitors the receiver voltage. So if you're flying a DLG or a thermal soarer, it will tell you if your receiver flight pack is getting low. And the other one is just a general purpose analog input. So if you have an electric glider, that can measure your LiPo voltage for your electric motor. If you're DLG or thermal soaring, you can hook that up to a Vario and it'll tell you your rate of sink or climb. Isn't that clever? And that's a nice little receiver because the 8-channel, let's face it, was a little bit big to squeeze into some smaller gliders, and even the 7-channel with its little flimsy case like this was also a little bit big. But why has it got a flimsy case? Well, because this is a prototype. and there's not even a label. That's why it's the naked receiver. They've actually sent me this so far ahead of time, haven't even had the labels printed, but that's what it looks like. So I'll be testing this. I'm going to throw this in my DLG. I'm going to use a modified version of my Vario, which will output an analog voltage, so I can link it up to this. And I'm going to use my dashboard, and we're going to see if it works as well as I hope it does. But that'll be great. Now, another product I'm talking about, but not showing you because I don't have it yet, although I have ordered one, is the new magnetic encoded servo from HobbyKing. Now, this is it appears to be an OEM version of the Bluebird servo, of the similar type. And instead of using a feedback potentiometer to tell the servo's electronic circuitry where the output arm is, it uses a magnetic encoder. And this has actually been done before. It's been done with a variable capacitor and variable magnetic encoders, but it's never caught on. And why is that? Well, because there have been some drawbacks, but maybe now they've overcome those drawbacks. They've solved the problems, and it is a practical reality. So we'll see. But the thing that excites me about these servos is not the magnetic encoder. It's the fact that they claim to have a titanium alloy gear set. And that's really important because the conventional metal geared servos often use aluminium alloys, and although they're very light, they also wear very quickly. Stick them in a model with a lot of vibrations, such as you get from a 4-stroke or a gas engine, and with big control surfaces, as you have in 3D models, very quickly those gears start to wear down and you get a lot of slop. Even the top-end JR servos, inevitably after a few hundred flights or even less, you'll find there's a lot of slop in the output and they start jittering and shaking and horrible things. Hi-Tech addressed this by coming up with the titanium gear set, and so have Savox on their top-end servos. Those titanium gears, they just don't wear out. They're so hard, so tough and light that they don't wear, so they last almost forever. Now, if HobbyKing have been able to do this with a servo that's under 40 bucks and is also incredibly fast, 0.07 seconds with 10.5 centimeters of torque using a cordless motor, then this could be a real winner for them. But as we know, the Chinese are not always totally honest with their specifications. So I'll be getting, as soon as that servo arrives, I'll throw it on the bench, I'll test it out. I want to see, is it as fast as it's claimed? Does it have as much torque as claimed? And most importantly of all, is that titanium alloy a high titanium alloy or just an aluminium alloy with a little bit of titanium thrown in for good measure, in which case it's probably not going to be that much better than an existing regular metal geared servo. So stay tuned for that. I've ordered that. It's processing at the moment as I film this video. So hopefully it'll be here before Christmas. I've ordered EMS shipping. We don't know because it's Christmas and all the shipping is slow. But that's it for another week, another roundup of the news and the new products that have arrived on my desk. If I don't see you before Christmas, I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and all the best for the festive season. Those of you who have donated, thank you very much, because look, my coffee cup is only half empty. So I've had a couple of donations this week, which has been very heartwarming and great. And I've spent it all on product that will be reviewed. The EPP FPV plane from HobbyKing is almost completed. There's been a few things that before you buy one of these you really need to know, and a few changes I've made in construction to vary it somewhat from the manual, because if you follow the manual, it's not as good as it could be. So I'll be showing you all of those in the HobbyKing EPP FPV build video, which is coming up soon. And when the weather clears, when the rain stops and the clouds go away and the wind drops a bit, I'll be flying the FPV plane and you will see the video here on YouTube. But subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, you might miss it. So subscribe now and don't miss it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on RC Model Reviews.